Welcome back to The Creative Lens. This week, Jake and Colden break down a wild run of camera releases. Canon dropped their R6 V and Sony their A7R VI in the same day. And then DJI just dropped their Pocket 4 Pro today. Plus, Jake shares lessons from shooting 12 projects in 12 days. The guys react to Christopher Nolan's thoughts on AI in his films, and they call out gear they bought but barely use. Let's get into it.
Yo, what's up, man? How's it going?
What I love is how much our studios have evolved from that first clip.
For real. Yeah.
That's what's pretty crazy.
Yeah. And I like how congruent this is getting. Like, your stuff looks so good. It's like from go back and play the first clip to now. Well done, man.
You forced me to step up. Your stuff looks so clean that I'm like, I can't be the schmuck over here.
Yeah, well, you gotta step it up.
Lens, I gotta have a good look.
So, all right, you brought this up. I put together this this intro package, this intro music. You've got a new suggestion.
We might have the new intro.
Okay.
When me and the guys are having issues, we hop on Da Vinci. Resolve anything with a couple of notes. Now the video's crispy. We have the soft that's bright and the cleanest dark. They still wanna diss me. How you make faces look so pink and orange? It's a mystery. Boys nowadays crank the saturation, put colorist in their bios. They ain't never lived in struggle. Magic bullet looks, it's a violation. All of you spam halation. Me and the guys shoot real 60 mil, we don't do emulations. Nah. Put one hand in the air if your clients ever disliked your colors. Put one hand in the air if your premieres crash and you've been through struggles. Sleepless nights, searching, editing packs, transitions and bundles. These days over, dim pack free, you're solving everyone's problems. Put one hand in the air if your clients ever disliked your colors. Put one hand in the air if your premieres crash and you've been through struggles. Sleepless nights, searching, editing packs, transitions and bundles. These days over, dim pack free, you're solving everyone's problems.
I love it.
Absurd,
well,
man.
wait, look, I love rap music. I grew up with it, especially, and now I've become obsessed with UK drill rap. And so I appreciate the aspect where it can be UK drill rap, but all about filmmaking. Like, it is
the lyrics are legit. Like, the lyrics are impressive. Like, that's been all over my feed too. We were talking offline. Like, that's been all over my feed, and he just clips it up.
Well, because he also has multi versions of it.
Really?
So I think it's
multiple
maybe it's
versions.
just different verses or whatnot.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I'm just saying, or we need some sort of rap song or something that has filmmaker lyrics.
Yeah.
And
I will expect you to fully write that song and perform it live for the next show. Maybe we'll get in on the next show.
Yeah, every week.
Deal.
Oh my God. I just love it. I just thought it was so fun and just so creative where, you have this dude who's and it's just so clever.
Yeah.
The lyrics are so clever. Okay. So if anybody is watching this, if they think that should be the new theme song, let us know.
Vote in.
Or,
yeah.
What's his name? Who wrote it?
I don't know. You got to shout him out because I don't know who he is. But
Hairless.
Okay.
If give us approval to use that as the new intro, because
that's what we need. If anybody knows him, shoot this over to him so we can get this this locked in.
Bumping right away. get you hype for the creative lens.
See, now I'll get pumped with the ska music any day, but but there's a different vibe for sure if we go
very different vibe.
We go that route. Yeah, for sure. So, so this week, speaking of a vibe, man, this week has been Christmas on steroids for the camera industry.
I don't know how to
drama.
I don't know how to feel about it. Okay, but hold on. Before we got it, the beef continues.
What continues on the beef?
We can't get into cameras. Oh, this clip is it not launched? Hold on.
We gotta load another.
I gotta load another clip. No. Because even though this is the creative lens, if you've been following by any means, Colden, you're not expecting this.
Okay, great.
Perfect. Okay, everybody can't be doing.
Oh, I'm still learning how to do this.
That's okay.
How do we do this? All right.
Okay, everybody can't be doing this, dog. GoPro, chill out, bro. What am I supposed to put on the end of that? Oh, wait, brother, I can't keep.
Won't work.
8K raw, honestly, 1-inch sensor.
I missed my calling. That's the clip that I should have been putting out because that's absurd. 8K raw though. I don't know where he's talking about raw. I've not heard 8K raw.
So I don't know, but
Ridiculous.
I saw that. I instantly thought of you.
Yeah, perfect.
Releases. I had to show you. Feud continues.
Yes, the feud. It will not die. No.
So, all right. Now,
okay.
Now that we've gone through our GoPro segment, that's how we start the show. We have our fun little banter. We have our GoPro segment, and then we actually go into the show.
God hope they stick around and we can continue to just shit on GoPro at the beginning of each show. That would be so much fun.
Worst comes to worst, they become an AI company just like Allbirds.
We might get into that next show, but there's definitely some talks that GoPro's not going to be where they're GoProing. Exactly. There might be some shifts in the company, so we'll see. Maybe we'll get into that next week. We'll save that for the banter of next week.
They might be Go AI next week.
You never know. You never know, man.
All
but
right,
so the drama of this week, though,
just dropped,
dude. So the craziest part, though, I love that this weird camera drama is I'm here for it. I had my popcorn out. So Canon announced, they had this teaser announcement, right? They were like, we're going to drop a camera on Wednesday at 9:00. And I swear, they were first. I swear to God, Sony saw that and was like, all right, we're going at 9:30 then. And we're going to have more megapixels than you. And so it was just an interesting drop, man. So 2 huge camera releases on the same day, literally the same 9 a.m. Eastern.
It feels like a rap beef. Like if you remember, what was it? 50 Cent and I think it was Ja Rule or something. They dropping albums at the same day. Kendrick and Drake. It feels like a hip hop rap beef.
It a little bit. My nerdy brain goes OpenAI and Claude did this too, where it was OpenAI announced something and then Claude was 5 minutes later, we're going to launch our new thing. It's
not like
the
film community where it was Barbenheimer, where it's oh, yay, go to the movies and watch anything. We're united. This is hey.
Well, yes. But I love the weird timing of the releases, but it is interesting because they launched 2 totally different cameras, right? Very, very different. And so the first one was the Canon. Do we have it? Oh, wait. Should be up. Why is mine not loading up?
It says it's there.
Yeah. No, I don't see it. Do you have to take something off of your screen? Why did we break this already? Cool. All right. I'll add it over here. So there we go. Yeah, it still says it's on you. Weird. Let me take our banner thing off. So here's R6.
We're so competent at this. We know exactly what we're doing.
Well, I had it going. You've got to remove one of your videos from the stage because it's showing that you're already connected. Or did you delete it?
I deleted a video.
Well, you might have broken our StreamYard. Cool. So the R6 V, which is this creator heavy, really interesting. I got to tell you, I watched this whole announcement and I'm a little jealous of what they just dropped for $2,500.
Trust me, I got hyped, bro.
Yeah.
Because we talked about this last week. I was I've been a Canon guy for my entire life. Just because that was the dice rolled. I went, let's go Canon. Why not? Young Jake. And I've been a Canon boy. And I have nothing particularly against Sony, but just like kind of like no NorCal, SoCal, East Coast, West Coast, you kind of have that just fun beef because why not? It's fun to beef.
Well, to me though,
and I was inches away from selling all my Canons and going and going just full Sony, full tilt, like FX3. Let's load them up, $20,000, call it a day. Right?
Yep.
The bank account wasn't going to be happy. The
credit card was not going to be happy.
But then this dropped.
Yeah. This is an interesting camera. So I like the body style. It's basically like an FX3-esque, 7K. They put their like C50. So that's the interesting thing. It's not a new sensor. They put their C50 sensor in it, which is 32.5 megapixels, 7K. They gave us the open gate thing. They put IBIS in it. So that was, I think, the big difference because the C50 is kind of this camera already, but this is kind of shrunk down now with IBIS because C50 didn't have IBIS in it. 7K sensor, you get RAW, you get open gate. It's pretty sweet. I will say this is from Cine D. And one thing that Cine D is talking about, which I'm always interested to wait until sensor data comes out. So in their release, because Canon was saying, oh, we got 15 plus stops of dynamic range. Cine D points out that if this is truly like exactly the same sensor and the same processor on the C50, you're really only getting 9.98, almost 10. And then at the first SNR, you get 11.2. So not quite real world.
So for us non-tech, tech nerds like you, Colden, what is SNR?
That's a sweet question that I have no idea. I think this is the noise.
You're just repeating what they say.
So yeah, signal to noise. Maybe somebody can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Okay. But I believe these sensors are dual stopped, like dual native ISOs. So a lot of times when you shift, so I don't know what their standard of measurement is, but I know that a lot of times as you shift your ISO, so like there's a base ISO, right? Like know your camera has a base ISO. That is where they do all of when you get these like dynamic range tests, right? That say, oh, we have 15 stops. That is the baseline ISO where the sensor performs natively at its best. And then you're electronically gaining up or down. So like if you're I don't know what your R6 is, but like my FX3 is a base of 800. So if you bring the ISO down to 100, you're just digitally shifting that down, but the sensor is still reading at an 800 level. And so these newer sensors that have dual ISOs, dual natives, that's what I think this is what they're talking about. I'd have to look up what they're actually referring to, but it would make sense that at their second base, you lose a little bit of dynamic range. That usually always happens. And then at their first base, you would get 11.2. I'd have to read into exactly what they're talking about. But still, I mean, 11.2 usable stops of dynamic range is pretty sweet.
Pretty great.
It's still, and depending, like we were talking, my big thing is sensor readout speed. Because some of the sensors have gotten so good, and some of my older cameras are so bad that my next camera has to be under 8 milliseconds. I just like shooting a lot of sports. I shoot a lot of action stuff. I want to like grab my camera. And a lot of times I'm either doing handheld or like fast paced stuff. So I don't want a really slow readout speed. And for like everybody that's watching, like what is a slow readout speed? It's your rolling shutter. Like the readout speed, you'll always see a tech spec on this of like how fast the sensor will refresh from the top to the bottom. And if it's slower, you get those like wobbling lines that we call rolling shutter. And the slower the sensor reads out, the more those lines start to tilt. So like we were talking offline, the FX3, FX6, those cameras read out at 8 milliseconds. The new, like literally talk about almost jumping ship, when Nikon released their Z9 and Z8, I think that's at like 4 milliseconds. Like that is as close as I've seen anybody get to like a global shutter. That's not a global shutter.
Yeah.
This is closer to the like 12.8, I think, millisecond readout, which just means like you're more in that Blackmagic Pixis.
But and it feels like it's like, I mean, from the things that I read about, it's like this is a content creator's, like a high-end content creator's camera. Like this isn't a cine camera. Like in the sense of like it is, but like its purpose and its marketing is like, hey, let's take the FX3, but let's really design it because like it's stupid, but it's genius at the same time. Like probably if you scroll down, like one of the things that they built in was that small little the vertical
you dig that, right? Where they put the extra quarter 20 on it. They don't
so much social content.
Cinity didn't even cover it, but there is a, if you missed this release, there's a quarter 20 mount on the side of the camera. So you can put another,
you can mount it vertically natively, which is stupid as it is, but like I shoot so much social content for clients that like I use my ball head tripod and I flip it, but then like there are times when I shoot with a teleprompter and I have that. It was literally last week we were talking about like things that you love, and it was my L bracket.
Yeah,
like it was. Yeah, it's a $15 piece of gear, but like it has saved my life. And it allows me to use a full like pan and tilt tripod and like a full real tripod, but like, great, now my camera's vertical. And it's just like one of those little things like, and to me, that's like, it's built with the higher end YouTuber, the higher end social media individual who wants to really like have a higher quality piece of gear.
Yeah.
Come in place. And so it's like I use this and I looked at this and I was like, oh, this solves so much of what I need for podcasting, for, all my social media clients. Like having 3 of these completely solves a lot of my issues.
For sure. I thought of you.
It doesn't have a view. Like its cons. I was going through on another website looking at this. I was like, its cons. I was like, so like none of those cons were like, oh, it doesn't have an XLR input, it doesn't have an EVF. I was like, okay, so what?
At least it got full HDMI on it, which usually that's like the drawback, right? Like the cheaper Sony cameras skimp on the HMI and they put like a mini HDMI on, and those suck and always break.
Like,
so
I'd rather have that because I use my my 1/8 inch input. I don't like, I use my remote like Hollylands all the time. Like I'm not using anything else. Like I'm not using my Sennheiser 416. Like it's just it's not nearly as needed for social content. Right. And that's the thing. It's like, and where I go like, yes, it is a cine camera, but it's a cine camera made for social content, which is great because again, the full frame, this, oh my God, I'm blanking on the term.
The full frame sensor.
Yeah.
Like you've got a full,
what is the
crop sensor?
Yeah, no. It's full frame, but it's, isn't it, whatchamacallit, open gate?
Oh, you've got open gate. Yeah. That's what you were looking for. So yeah, like, you've got open gate.
It's open gate. So you could naturally shoot 7K, but then there's your vertical video and your YouTube video. Like you could just do the post cropping on it, shoot with a wider lens, and you're good. They
sold this. Let me, so I'll mute this so we don't have to like talk over the audio, but this is Canon's release video that they came out with. One thing that was like wild to me is, so they go over open gate and they just showed this visual on like cropping the open gate and like how great it is. You can shoot vertical, you can shoot horizontal at the same time. I think it's right here, but like watch how much you actually still have to crop to get to 16:9. You lose so much of that. Like I just, that visual to me, I was like, oh man, like open gate's nice, but like you are still cropping crazy. Like you got to make sure you frame that properly. And into that, actually, that's the game changer though, that I honestly, I was like, such a little thing. Talk about little tools that help us as creators. You can put 2 of your safe zones on the display at the same time, which is like stupid that we have to ask for that. But that's like killer, because now you can actually have a safe zone for vertical and you can have a safe zone for 16:9. And like, you don't have to pick one or the other, and make sure you're like hopefully good on it. So I thought that was a little ad. You know, the quarter 20 on the side is kind of, here's the weird thing on the quarter 20 on the side, which I would still have to like see in practice. It's like a cute thing. It's great. I'm sure, you know, it gets people excited about shooting vertical, but you got to trade off somewhere. And that part of one, you've put it on the grip side.
Right there.
Yeah. So there it is. Right. Okay. So you've put it on the grip side, which, you know, if you're hand holding it, that now makes a super uncomfortable grip. All right, we can deal with that. It's also where
you're not going to handhold it if you're tripod plate, you know.
That's well, but I guess I'm thinking like if you're a one-man band, like you are pulling it from and I'm not necessarily even thinking about a tripod. I'm thinking of like an R5, a Ronin. No, you've like got it on a Ronin gimbal, pull it off, and then you're putting it somewhere else. Like just being able to hand hold it in the, you know, moving of things. If you're going from a gimbal to hand holding shots to that's like minimal. It does.
It's like that's where like when I mount my L bracket, that's what I do.
You have the problem, but it does block your cards. So that's the only kind of.
But it also otherwise it would block all your ports.
Right. No, I couldn't go on that side. You'd have to really like it. Yeah, look, like I said,
it's not. These cameras are not invented for vertical shooting.
Right.
And so we're retrofitting cameras to fit with this new style. Like these cameras inherently are not designed for it. Like somebody would have to literally go, okay, let's look at this in a whole new way. Like, do ports go out the bottom? Do ports go out this? You know, like how do we?
Yep.
It'd have to be a complete redesign of all entire camera body. And like you could say the closest thing would be like it'd be probably a cube, but that's a whole nother thing.
Right.
Somebody commented, I want to just, you know, Canon did a great job with the announcement. I was actually wondering if I was selling my Blackmagic 6K for the the R6 V. And honestly, Earthly Links, I was literally debating selling my Blackmagics and being like, great, let's go. You
guys all, if you're living in the EF lens world anyway,
we're living
easy.
like this was
easy commitment,
finally the solution from Canon, in my opinion, that competed with the FX3. Now, like it's more like it just saves you, instead of $20,000. Literally, if I were to switch over to a Sony line to have something that competes with my Canon line, it would probably $20,000 to $25,000.
Oh, if you're switching your glass too,
that's why it's all the glass, it's all the batteries, it's all like it's everything.
Yeah,
you know, compared to great $5,000 for 2 bodies.
Yeah, and if you've got the RF glass anyway, that was a big thing for me. Is like when I switched over, it was EF lenses, and I had a bunch of them, and I had to, you know, I had 5D Mark II. Like, had to sell all of that. I kept some of my EF lenses for my Blackmagic cameras because they all ran on, and I had those for if I was shooting on a red project. But like they weren't doing their RF thing yet, and so it was an easy like, well, I'm making a full transition over. And then all of my autofocus lenses are basically now E-mount lenses. So it's harder for me to go, oh, I'll just make the jump back over to Canon for this.
Yeah, if you're in the Canon world, and that's why to me, like Canon finally gave us something that I went, oh, which I was surprised they released it now and not at NAB. That's my biggest thing. I was like, that there's no big thing connected to this that didn't release around NAB, which was literally a month ago.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, I'm like half and half. I love when everybody kind of just dumps their stuff onto NAB because it makes the show really great. But everybody's talking about so many things. I kind of liked this. Is the only funny thing is Canon was like, we'll just pick a random Wednesday. And then Sony was like, nope, we're there too. That was the funniest part.
That's the ridiculous aspect about it, that everybody's doing it the same day.
Yeah. Earthlings mentioned that like they did a great job on the announcement. I agree. Did you happen to watch the announcement, Jake?
I didn't.
or anybody that's watching. So it's so interesting. Like, I almost wish I had these clips pulled for everybody so we could talk about it. They went two totally separate routes on this. So Canon did the, like, I'd almost call it like cringy Apple. Like, they took an Apple like keynote where they had everybody kind of talking in different, they all had their different roles to play in this production. It was all kind of pre-taped and kind of put out there as like a live broadcast. But it was all kind of different use cases of this camera. But it was all produced. Sony just kind of, they had like a live thing in New York, and they just kind of live streamed their announcement from the back of the room in like 280 high def, like 280 pixels. You don't even get 1080. Like, it was such a bad stream. But then their
tailing
content,
on. Yeah.
It was just an interesting dichotomy of like,
of a rollout.
Well, and I guess what they thought their target audience was, like what their target market was for. So like, jumping in, then we talked Canon. I think it's a sick camera. The complete inverse of that is this new camera by Sony, which is their A7R VI. So the R,
all of their things.
The only thing I'll say is like, it kind of like, they try and keep their lines to a certain user. So R would stand for resolution, and it's always been their highest resolution style camera. Generally, what that means is that it's slower. By the way, this was the dumbest you can go on. So it's 66.8, right? So everybody went 6.7. Like, we can't even say the resolution anymore on this, because
my God,
everybody will, be ridiculous. But yeah, so it's a 66.8 megapixel sensor, and the R series have generally
get blasted for being like, "Oh, you're rounding up. It's not actually 6. It's not actually 67. It's actually 68. 66.8."
Yeah. Literally, I think the keynote guy who was talking about it, he was like, he brought it. He was like, "My kid has to say 6.7." So even the keynote had to address that they have a 67 megapixel sensor, but it's a fully stacked sensor. Which means it improves readout speed instead of like a partially stacked or a non-stacked sensor, because the R series is always kind of, you want to talk about slow readout. You're capturing such an intense megapixel camera. It takes a while. So it's not your sports camera generally. But now they're like the complaint on the Sony side is like, you basically just gave us 90% of your flagship A1. And Sony has a tendency to do this, which, like, as a Sony shooter, I love you, but like, if I was going to drop $8,000, $7,500 for their flagship a year ago, the A1 Mark II, like a year later, they just gave you all the same features into this camera, the same resolution sensor. You get the same 7K video recording, like crazy amount of overlap, and it's a $4,500 camera. So they cut the camera by like 40%. They cut the cost of it by 40%. So it's what I like is these two releases were completely different people. Yeah. So I was hoping to see that this is not where they would give us a ton of video features anyway. And they touched on it. Yeah. They were like, oh, we've got really great video features in this too.
It does video too.
It's not there.
Yeah, I mean, this is serving the high-end photographer. That's, where.
Now, what's interesting though, because I love this. My older A7 III only does like 10 frames per second burst, and it blacks out the EVF. So they introduced this a while ago that like you have open buffer and you have no blackouts when you're shooting with it. I freaking love that as a sports photographer. So that's almost one reason why I've like, for a like high resolution camera, like you're pushing, we were talking about, you had a Fuji, like you rented a Fuji, like you're pushing into medium format here. You don't have the medium format sensor where now you have to go get all new lenses, but like you're pushing into it. You saw the same thing, right? That the presentations were like super different. Earthlings was calling out the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't know that the top of the earlier announcement by Ken. Yeah, it was just such a different vibe. But yeah, I appreciate that you noticed that as well, that they were just very different. But their cinematography, like the stuff that they showed, was significantly better than their terrible live streaming.
So what are your thoughts on it? Like, are you gonna do it, or are you gonna, like, because you're more video than photo, is it worth it?
It's close, but the funny thing is, like, the deal breaker for me was this sensor readout, and it is a new sensor, so we're not totally sure what the full specs of it are. But like I said, I want under 8, which is a dumb number to have in my head, but like, I want to be able to shoot quick moving video under 8 milliseconds, because this is not usually their fast line. I think it's going to be more in the 12 range, which is funny because I was like, oh, that's way too slow. And then when I was researching this Canon, I was like, oh, actually Canon's like new sensor is that 12. Slow. So we'll see. It's not enough to get me super excited, I think, and it's a Sony thing.
It doesn't solve enough of a difference in your problems to warrant dropping the.
If you had given me a little bit more to chew on the video side, like, I was ready. I had the pre-order button ready. But it's not different enough. That's my biggest.
But it's also not meant for that. It's not meant for that. It's meant for the higher end photographers.
By the way, this clip right here, in terms of like vertical shooting, their LCD screen, this like 5-axis LCD screen, so much better for vertical shooting than what Canon gave us. It's an insane, it's like the coolest. If anybody's used this, like, it's the coolest viewfinder, the coolest LCD screen that you can have. Because what happens when you give us just the flip out screen and not the tilty screen is you lose. Like, if you shoot low, you've lost. You can't do it. So you have to like flip the screen out to the side and then tilt it. And so this like 5-axis thing that Sony's,
But I
so
love
in terms
that.
of like,
Trust me,
the other thing,
there's ergonomics of Sony cameras that are just,
they do a great job. So the other thing that they launched on this, which I thought was interesting, totally new battery. It's been 6 years. They've used the same NPF 100 batteries. Like, I have a stack of them. So the other thing that, pisses the Sony community off is like, you changed our battery. It's a fully new build, new shape, new battery, supposed to last longer.
I mean, that's the one thing with these cameras, is that hopefully the battery life is, on the video side, it's an issue, but.
So the two things, I hate to be on the open gate train, but I do think you brought it up. Like, there's a lot of uses for utilizing that whole sensor,
especially
maybe
in the video world.
Maybe I'll go the not content creator side and say, if I'm shooting anamorphic, open gate, like 3:2 aspect ratio is so much better to shoot in than 16:9. But at the same time, like, we're all shooting projects that require vertical and horizontal delivery, and I have it on my Osmo Pocket 3, and I freaking love the open gate shooting on that. So the next camera, I think it is enough. Like, had they just been like, we gave you open gate, and like, notoriously Sony has never listened to anybody who criticizes them for not having open gate, but like, if they would have done it, my credit card would have been at B&H yesterday. But maybe on the next one, the FX, what this does tell me is like the FX3 Mark II better freaking kill it. Like, it should be
I know.
Insane
That's what I'm a little like. Because I'm like,
but it's going to be expensive. Like, to kit out a couple of those, like, it's going to be, they're not going to try and compete with the R6 V.
At least 4K. Like, I can't imagine it'd be less than 4K, because that's what the FX3
it'll be more than that.
is right now. So to have anything less than that is stupid. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy the world we're getting in right now with cameras, like the technology and how fast and where it's advancing to is wild.
Yeah.
Like, the thing that I still am so surprised about is battery length. Like, that technology, just like, yeah, your V mounts, but like those are heavy AF, dude. Like,
yeah.
Like, I'm surprised that technology, like, to me, like, that's the one piece of tech that still has not really been solved well.
Yeah. It's hard because you can get batteries that last a long time, but like you said, you have to increase weight and size to get to that. And so, yeah, it's the technology hasn't come as far on that side.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. I like, if you're going to rig it out, you just want to keep your camera on all day. We're talking about a very different shooter than somebody who can power on and off their camera. Cause I like
or just even more
IV,
relaxedly, switch out batteries. Like, but
yeah,
shooting, if you're out shooting all day, whether it's podcasting, YouTubing, or even just on a film set, like,
yeah.
Even the V mounts, like how, like on a feature film or like a full set, like you go through those V mounts.
Yeah.
Like, and those are like, even the small, those are the fully loaded, full size V mounts, and you burn through them. And so
you do.
That's the one thing that I've just like, I'm not, I think that I think there's a technology gap there that needs to increase.
Giovanni said, yeah. And Giovanni, I agree with you too. Sony's done a really good job at their power management. Cause that's what I was going to say. Like, my newer cameras, man, I trust those NPF 100s, like for like a full, if I'm doing photos, maybe I need a second battery, but it's only one. If I'm doing videos, the fact that they've built in power delivery, USB-C power delivery means, like, if I'm doing a talking podcast, I just plug a USB-C in and I have one of my like big Anchor batteries, lasts all day. Like, I don't worry about that. They have done a really good job on low power draw. The other camera, if you want low power draw, like, we don't have any real specs on it yet, but that Kinefinity that we talked about from NAB, that's supposed to be a super low power draw. You have like I can't remember. They use a Sony battery. I can't remember what style they use right now, but they're talking like 2 to 3 hours on just that little battery. You rig up a proper V mount to it, you should be able to last all day. So that's I'm excited to see that. The other crazy thing that we talked about a little bit, but really with that Kinefinity that I'm excited about is with their mount, you have the ability to switch to different mirrorless lenses, which actually we didn't even touch on last time, but we can maybe talk about this, or maybe we'll bump it to the next show. But like, I've been on a like deep, you want to talk about how like my credit card's getting scared because I've been deep into like buying new lenses for maybe no reason, but like very interested in like shopping about what kind of different lenses. And that's the hardest thing, is like, once you're in one of these mirrorless lenses, because the flange distance is so small, you are not adapting. Like, there's no way I can take my Sony E lenses to an R6 body. There's no way if I get an L mount that I can get my E glass onto that L mount. But this Kine mount is actually, you can use L lenses, you can use E lenses, you can use RF lenses, and you can use PL lenses. Like, not enough people are talking about how impressive that is. I want to see it in real life, but like, that's a cool, because then you actually can use some of these other lenses that you've collected. The closest that I've come is like, well, the new Nikon ZR and the Z9 and Z8, there is an adapter. It's like a super small, thin adapter that you can change your E mount lenses to a Nikon camera. But
yeah, I mean, that's what Giorgio is saying right here too. For that Nikon is a safe option. Exactly. Yep. Right on the same page.
Okay. Giovanni, I appreciate you're tracking right with what my thoughts are. It's like, what
tracking
do I'm literally,
dude,
I'm at the point
on that lens binge like you have, but I know I need to.
I'm at the point in this lens shopping where I'm like, fuck it, I'll just get PL lenses. Because then I know it'll last forever. You don't have any kind of autofocus, so like make sure you're good at pulling focus.
Or just get the DJI LiDAR.
I've looked at that too.
Like, that's the annoying but great thing. Like, that exists now.
It does. It does. So that's been my like dig. And so it's a totally different tangent. But in terms of the like lens compatibility, that Kinefinity, I'm excited to see them actually produce that camera. The third launch, that if anybody that's watched this as well, this was the weirdest launch of like a very anticipated camera that maybe it's because personally I've been like, I will buy this camera. Give me the opportunity, or like I will go to Canada to buy this camera. Is DJI. And DJI did this like teaser thing where they said, oh, I got to switch this over. There's a lot of buttons that I have to click. Okay. So they put this out a couple of days ago, and they finally gave us a time. They're like, all right, the DJI Pocket.
It's coming to the Cannes or Con, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And Film Festival. I was like, that's an interesting, but also there was something else. I'm just going to take a quick tangent right now. Because just to talk about the festival, because I saw I've been seeing a couple posts about it. It's becoming like a European South by. Like there's an entire creator summit in it. There's it's becoming a bit more of like a South by Southwest and not just like a Sundance, where like it used to be, the premier European festival outside of Venice. And like it's opening up now to a bit more tech, a bit more, like clearly, and to YouTubers and to creators and not just films. So I think it's a fascinating pivot to watch where this industry is going, especially this. So, but
what was weird about this? Okay, and I agree. It was like I like it. Is this whole idea of like, no, this is going to be the Osmo Pocket for filmmakers. We're going to launch it at Cannes because it's for filmmakers. Okay, but you gave us a time, which was like 1700 European time. So I'm like doing the math. I'm like, it's 11 a.m. It's 11 a.m. on Wednesday.
I mean, 5 p.m. there, but
right. No, you're right. But it's 11 a.m. on Thursday. So we got the Canon, we got the Sony camera, and we're going to get this DJI camera. Fuck yeah. Nothing. I'm looking on every X feed, on every YouTube feed, because Canon and Sony did a great job at like, they started on time. They had their stuff produced. And I thought DJI is going to kill it with this one. They gave us a time. Nothing. Not even a story on their social media. Like literally just a bunch of people that are like, what's going on? DJI trolled us. Like, so any updates?
So what happened at this event? Yeah.
Nothing. There was no coverage, no specs, no details about it. They came back out and like posted a day and a half later this photo.
What's on the carousel? Yeah.
And it's a GoPro, here's a picture of the camera. Here's a picture of the people holding the camera.
So like here's a carousel of the event, but we're not going to show you the event.
We didn't show you the event. Yeah. And it's literally just a whole bunch of the same
like
comments.
That's so weird.
The other thing that's weird, so the only thing we got into embargoes on GoPro. Now, the only thing I'll say is they haven't released, this is like a teaser, which is fine, but like the only information that they have given us is that it's a 1-inch sensor. It shoots 4K 60 and 4K 120, and it has D-Log 2. So if anybody else can spot the differences between that and the DJI Pocket 3, it's putting the number 2 behind DJI D-Log. Like that's the only new thing that they said this camera is going to do. Well, it'll have a new telephoto lens.
And the dual lens.
Have a new Yeah. But it was a really strange launch for this camera. And I feel like it's been very much anticipated, excited about. We wanted 2 lenses on this thing, and I don't know. They kind of botched that launch, and
I mean,
I was disappointed. I was disappointed to see it.
Well, yeah, I think it'll. I'm excited to learn more about it when it actually comes out. But you know,
they didn't do it on the 4. I'll tell you, like DJI, I'm sure you are watching this channel currently right now. So I'll give you my.
Obviously.
Here's how to get one credit card purchase at least. They didn't do this on the 3. They didn't do this on the 4. It doesn't look like they're doing it on the Pro. Give me native, like just turn the gimbal so I can shoot vertically natively with the sensor.
They do it in their Mavics. They've been doing it for years.
It's not a new thing. I thought for sure, like I was ready to buy the 4 prior to the 4P.
Like,
I was like
2 credit cards by doing that.
Yeah.
Like 100%.
Let me turn the camera so that, again, we've talking like that's a perfect, to me, that's a perfect creator camera.
Yeah.
If you, now it's not as like durable and like beatable as this new Canon camera or like real cinema cameras, but like throw it in your bag and you have a gimbal.
Perfect BTS, perfect. Like if you don't want to shoot with the iPhone,
yep,
you need another camera. Like it's a perfect version. Like I personally, I don't have that much storage on my iPhone. So I get very annoyed shooting any behind the scenes on my iPhone because I'm like, gotta clear it out again, gotta clear it out again, gotta clear it out again. But like, and like, I don't love shooting clients on the iPhone, but if I had this for that, purpose, like this is going to be my phone camera.
Yep.
So my phone can just be my phone.
Exactly.
Like, like, I don't need it to be a professional camera. What I need it is a perfect social media camera. And that's what I need. I need it fully thought out for social media, for time lapsing, for behind the scenes, image tracking like you have on the Ronin 5, like just perfectly be a social media camera.
Yep.
And we're good.
And you don't feel that, you don't know this because you shoot on your Hollylands, but if you get into the DJI system, their immediate pairing to their microphone system. Oh my God, dude.
My point is I would also then go buy a DJI mic set.
Right.
So that it would like, this is my mobile, like this is my phone setup.
Yep.
And I'm like, great, I need to just bring my phone with me. It would be the DJI Osmo with the DJI mics, and I'd be like, great, that's my mobile setup or my BTS setup or my whatever. While I then go, great, Hollylands with the Canons as my like higher end, more cinematic look, you know, where I can go, great, I can change the lenses. I have a better sensor. Like I'm not going on a 1-inch sensor, especially now with 34 megapixel, you know, 7K.
Don't shit on a 1-inch sensor. GoPro just put it there, revolutionizing the game, man.
Hey, we were on GoPro at the beginning. We don't go back to GoPro after we.
Well, I thought, you know, the art of this is the callbacks. It just kind of keeps circling back to. Yeah. No, but I'm with you. I think that like we talked about this a couple of shows ago is like, what's the most underrated piece of kit? And I bought into the DJI Pocket 3 super late, but it goes in my pack every single time, even if it's just going to be a BTS camera, like you said. And I wear the DJI mic and I give, you know, my talent the better mics. Like it's just such a great camera, but like, just like that part, the fact that it won't turn, and I know the DJI Air drones do. I know the Mavics do. Like my
just put the tech in. Come on, guys, just copy paste.
Or give me a really clear reason why we can't do it. Yeah. Like give me a reason why it's just feasibly impossible, and I'll
like it's so frustrating.
It's frustrating. DJI do a better job launching.
I wish I had something like this when I was on the road. Because so like which you know transitions great into this next segment, which is like I did 12 straight days of shooting, which I've never had before, which was crazy to experience, just like 12 straight days of on set. And like 8 different projects across them all. And
that's a lot of shooting.
It's a lot of shooting. Like literally not like a weekend. It's not like, oh, 5 days a weekend, 5 days a weekend. It's literally
back to back
straight days. And even I was in Texas for 4 days, so much so that I literally flew out and then landed, went to the client, shot with the client, another day of shooting, shot with the client, fly out same day. So it's not even like a travel day.
Yeah. You were on the ground, go.
Yeah.
Which is kind of how you got to do it. If you're doing those trips where you're up and down on airplanes, like when you burn days of just sitting down and traveling, your expenses rack up. I mean, it's if you can hit the ground and get to another shoot, like I'd rather be on the road less days and just get right into it. So what did you? No, go ahead. I've got some questions.
Some little tea from the trip. We flew Southwest because that was the best time. Yeah, that fit the best. I'm a Delta guy. Can
I interject just because I did have this thought and you just reminded me? I think you flew on the last Spirit airline flight ever. Like we talked about that. You said, I flew Spirit Airlines. I said, I'm sorry, dude. That airline sucks. And then next week they were gone.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I was one of the last.
So I hope you didn't just kill Southwest.
Because I was running late. It's because I was running late.
Yeah. So you flew Southwest. Give me the tea. I interjected.
That was the time so that we can fly in at the right time, land, go shoot, fly out at the right. Like it made the most sense. I tried to fly into every Delta. I was like, okay, what if I go out of Burbank? What if I go to LAX, Long Beach, freaking John Wayne? No.
Oh, you were looking. I was in LA that goes to John Wayne Airport. Yeah,
I'm a Delta guy. So, but oh my God. So I have 3 bags, which is not bad, right? Not bad. Southwest
you have
up, but now they're paid. And I didn't realize where they're at these days with their paid luggage. They are coming for blood.
Because you used to get 2 free bags anytime you booked a flight.
That's why I was like Delta #1, Southwest #2, because at least I can save on the baggage fees.
For sure.
Right. And I don't have to feel bad about charging or this or that or whatever. I just was like, oh, okay, great. Maybe it was a little extra money. I'd pocket it or, but they are coming for blood now.
Dude.
Guess how much it was one way?
What was it?
$250. So that's
3 bags.
$500. Nothing overweight. Also, everything under 50 pounds.
That wasn't even a weight limit.
That was
just
everything
3 bags.
under 50 pounds. And I still paid $500 round trip. I could have had my bag on the chair next to me.
That's the wild part, is that they'll charge you on a not full flight.
I think I paid less for the flight. No, I paid like $570 or something like that. I could have literally paid less for the bag or about the same price. And I would have had a seat next to me, put it up in the overhead. They were like, oh, you can't have 3 bags. It's like, bitch, I got 2 tickets. One for the bag, one for me. I put it in the overhead. I can go home. I got no middle seat. I got a middle and an aisle. But no. $500 round trip. So Southwest, do better.
Yeah.
Now
I don't know, because you're not a Southwest guy. I don't know the answer to this. If you have Southwest status, which is kind of a silly thing to say, but if you have Southwest status, do you still get the?
It would have been if I knew that beforehand, I would have upgraded my ticket.
Yeah, and then you get it.
Which no, actually wouldn't have saved me because I was going to do it on the way back. It would have given me 2 free bags, but then the other bag would have been $150 still. The third bag is still $150. So
that's crazy.
Part of me figuring this out is like, oh, travel. So like, what were the lessons I learned from this? Is like definitely looking at baggage fees and like also I'm looking at new gear. And so I'm like, okay, great. How do I travel intelligently? If it's, if I'm going to do 3 bags, or how do I consolidate to 2 bags? Can I do this? Can I do that? Like, now granted, there was another guy that was traveling with me from Florida who brought 2 suitcases too. So, I don't know. it's one of those things that like us as filmmakers constantly like I had the media badge ready, but I'm like, these are all underweight. We're good. I'm like,
yeah,
that wouldn't have helped me. The media badge would not have helped me. But the other thing that
we talked about it on the last show, dude. Rent your gear at a studio in town.
I know.
How much gear would you have rented for $500?
Yeah.
That's the dumb part is once they, like, if you don't have a status or something that gets you there, $500, man, is ridiculous. Really, how much gear you could have rented a Red Epic. You could have rented a whole PL lens setup from that.
But I
Maybe
mean,
not for
I can keep
a
the
bunch of
cameras
days,
in the camera backpack.
I'm just saying, like, I'm
like,
trying to put my
that
head through
GE
what
kit.
a $500 grip package feels like, and it's a lot of gear.
$500 for, you know, full lighting and grip, like, and tripods, like, which is also the pain in the ass to carry on to the flight, carry off the flight, transfer a
lot more work. Yeah.
So
did you have a car? Did you rent a car?
Yeah. Yeah.
So you already, because that's usually my rule is if I'm getting in and out of a location and I'm not renting a car, it's just easier to kind of have everything I can with me.
Yeah.
But at the point where you rent a car, like there's your grip truck for the week and you throw your C stands in and you throw all your light kits in and like,
which is great.
And you can go pick it up from a studio in Dallas or wherever you're shooting. Like, yeah.
Great hack though for stands and the tripods and that and the cables. Golf bag. A soft golf bag.
Soft? You do the soft
I went
golf bag?
soft.
You're a maniac.
Well,
I don't trust you.
Look, the thing is this. And that saves me like another 10 pounds.
Yeah, a little bit.
Hard shell
Man,
case versus a soft shell case. It's an extra 10
you go
pounds.
watch what not TSA, but baggage claim attendants do to people's bags.
I know. I've seen it.
I have a hard case that is like a carbon fiber material, plasticky hard case golf bag. I travel with it everywhere. It's gotten beat to shit. Like the wheels are falling off of it at this point because I've used it so much, which again kind of shows you how they treat people's bags. But never had an issue with any of my tripods. Never had an issue with any of my stands. Hard case, man. Don't
I know.
Don't cheap out at that point.
I got it. It was, you know.
Yeah, but it's a solid hack though. If you travel with gear, golf
bag.
Yeah.
And then it was interesting traveling with these lights and you know, shooting more with the 600. And like the setup I had was a 600, 300, and a 120, all from Aputure. And really seeing like how much in studio stuff that like the 600 was dialed down to like 10%, 20%. Like,
right.
I didn't need the 600 for what I was shooting at that point in Texas. And it was really interesting because I'm, you know, post NAB, we were talking about lights last time. I still haven't hit the trigger on my B&H card right now, which is like $2,300 right now. So it's just we're just slowly creeping that up. And, but I think because I'm getting a whole new kit in terms of lights. I think I'm going with the Nanlite. And this is, I haven't told you yet this. I think I'm 100% going with the Nanlite 720C.
Yep.
So that's going to be my big boy.
Yep.
And then I think I'm going with, which B&H has a like a special hookup kit, which is dual 300Cs with a travel case.
I think I've seen that because once you brought up Nanlite, I was like, I got to go check this out. Because when we talked about it, that's the first light I've seen that gets you under $1 a watt. That was cool. To me, like that's what I've looked at in terms of like, where do I pull the trigger on a different lighting package? So they look cool. And you get a travel case.
Yeah,
with
and the nice thing with the 300s, because I was going to go with the 500B, the bicolor, but I'm like, I don't, that difference in the 300 to 500 and it just being by, I'm like how much am I going to use that extra, like rather than two 300s that also have a case with it, and the 500B still comes with like a kind of a ballasty like power pack, converter.
Yeah.
Which just from a travel standpoint, I'm like, great. If I just need a 2-light setup, just bring the 2 300s. And like, I'm just doing like, if I'm not, whatever. Like I was like, oh, this is a lot more intelligent. Or if I need something big, great. Now I can bring the 720.
That 720 is a cool look. Like I would, because I was looking at that too. Like in terms of cost per watt, the 720C, like I would go at 720. They're heavier, so it's like where you're gonna travel with it. But like another 720 over the a 5, it makes sense to me because I'd rather turn those lights all the way down, but have it when you need it.
Well, and that's why I want to get one. So I have the
Yep.
one big one, but I do so much in studio stuff that I'm like,
Don't need it. You don't need that much power.
Also, like I can use a lighter stand for it. I can like the nice thing with the 300s, it's just right into the light, right into AC. Like there's no extra component parts to it.
With
like,
which ones?
The 300Cs.
My Aputure 300s are just right in. All the control panels.
My Aputure, there's a ballast.
No, I just have a power brick, but I don't have a ballast. You have all your controls. Can I say though, and they've solved it with the app, but the ballast with controls, when you have your light really high, is still really nice to have.
Sure. Yeah, but Nanlite has an app too.
Yeah. And like I said, they kind of there was a moment in time where everybody was like, we built it into the light itself. Cool. And then you'd throw that thing way up on a stand and you'd be like, shit, you'd have to bring it all the way back down and turn it down, put it all the way back up. So
like, gaffer or DP says, hey, can you let's test this out, Hollywood it at bring it up to 20-30%. Okay.
I'm getting a workout just pulling lights up and down. Yeah. So I do like the app. The app solved a lot of that and they're getting better. I'm so appreciative in love with how Aputure built Sidus Link, and then Amaran took Sidus Link, built their own version of it that works on your desktop, that works on your mobile, on your iPad. Like, Nanlite has to do that as well as Aputure has to get me to switch. I love the $1 per light though. That's cool. What else did you? So you're building this out. What else did you learn though from shooting that many days in a row?
My camera bag still hasn't recovered. Like it is an absolute mess. Like I have not taken the time to go, okay, great. Like it is sitting here on the floor and it is just a total shit show. Yeah. Just trying to like, it was just a lot of like, oh, what do I keep together? And I'm just like, oh, just keep going. Just, and it was just that. It was just like a lot of keep going. But I think one of the funniest things was like coming back and being like, oh, I'm done. Like it can take a minute. Like that was definitely the interesting thing was, even though I wasn't on the road, like I was only out of town for 4 days, but of that 12 days, but then to like, oh, I don't have a shoot tomorrow.
Nice to have a weekend after 2 weeks of going
I think
straight.
it was like a Tuesday or something like that. That was like my first day off. Yeah. And I was just like, I think I went and go, hit some golf balls or something like that. And just had a little bit of like me time of like, oh.
What were the projects? Cause that weighs on me a lot. Like, what did you have to do? What were the deliverables? What was did you like, are you the editor on this? Like now do you have to take those 12 days and now turn around and deliver? Or were some of that
only
that you actually got to?
Only 2 were editing.
Okay.
Editing deliverables. Everything else was turnover. Everything else was just like kind of white labeled and just, shooter type jobs. And so the post was super easy. Finished the post relatively quick. But yeah, I mean, it was not too bad.
That's always to me is if you don't.
Yeah, I also have a team. So like two of the projects I turned over to my editors. Another project I edited myself, and then like 2 of the other projects were just turnover footage to their internal teams. Nice.
So that makes it a little easier. How did you manage all of the different clips, data, storage while you're traveling? Like, did you find any friction in that, or was that pretty just all on that?
Well, okay. So the Texas shoot, those guys are crazy. Like I don't disagree. I don't agree with their methodology, but that's the way they want to do it. That's the way they want to do it. They have 2 terabyte SD cards. And then they just shoot the full 4 days and they DIT when they go back to the office when they're done with their shoot. I'm like,
you have the same thought I do.
You sure about that? And they're like, yeah,
sure?
that's totally fine. I'm like, clearly you guys haven't done this enough, but okay.
Right. All you need is that 1 2 terabyte card to corrupt for your whole world to melt.
Yeah, for the entire, and that was so, but everything else was local. So everything else, I slept back in my own bed. It was totally fine. I'd come home, I'd DIT, you know, send stuff off to my editor, send some stuff off to their editor, or whatever it was. Like it was, you know, there was a couple long days. I was shooting an event one of those days, which I rarely shoot events, but this nonprofit I work with a lot of the time, and I love them. And so, you know, I make a few exceptions to my rules, and they are one of the exceptions. But like one of those days was like a 14 or 15 hour day or something like that, because they had the entire event throughout the day and then a banquet at night. And so,
were you shooting the banquet too?
Yeah.
Oh, that's
but it was just again, it was a weird thing because like that event was weird because I was just getting B-roll.
Yeah,
like they just want a B-roll highlight video and a banner video for their website. Like, so I'm not worrying about any audio. I'm not the AV guy in the back doing, you know, great, let me get the entire speech. I'm like on the gimbal running around for like boom, 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 boom. Great. I'm going to sit down and hang out for an hour while a speaker speaks, and then doing a
little bit more. I've done those events where like you're just the B-roll guy, and it's the easiest. I love those. I love those events because you literally you have your checklist of the shots you need to get, these reactions, these cheers shots, and then you're done. And
exactly. So it was lovely, but you know, it was good. But it definitely the light, showing the lighting. The worst thing about that event though was the color temperature. Oh my god. The color temperature on that, because the stage was different than the room, but then where they were also on the stage, like just oh my god, me and post on that one was not happy,
hurting.
That's
where you bring it into DaVinci Resolve, and it makes your life easier. Maybe. Wait, you said you color in DaVinci Resolve. Did you try and fix it in Resolve, or were you trying to fix it in Premiere?
That one I shot. Don't kill me. I shot Rec 709 on that one. So I didn't. So I just was like, great. Fix.
I won't hate on you on that.
Yeah,
you still like if you're way off on your color temperatures, like if you have 10-bit, you have more flexibility. But like Rec 709 versus whatever log you're shooting, like if you're way off on your color temp, that's the one save of like shooting raw over some of these really good log profiles is like you can just kind of F up your color temperature and you can save it. But like, I don't know, if you know how to get an accurate color temperature reading, then the log is so good now that it doesn't.
All right, so I gotta show you this just because I saw these gear build outs and I was like,
oh yeah, oh you are showing me this is, I don't know what you
ready?
Can you do it? Oh, you can. That's absurd. I love the epic music in there because
so absurd.
All you can cut in.
But I thought you'd.
All highlights won't cut it. This is what you want. It's portable, lightweight,
this
and
one
removable.
I saw.
I can even change the color right here from my iPad. We got red, we got RGB. I can adjust the intensity right there. It's a hands-free unit. I can DP and light at the same time. No need for gaffers. Don't be left without your eye light on set. The ultimate handheld eye light setup.
But I'm like, is this serious or is this a joke? Like, I'm like, you have a full, like, rigged out. I don't know. Hold on. We're going to go back.
All highlights won't cut it. This is what we got.
Like, this one, it's so funny how our feeds are the same.
Well, yeah.
I thought it was like an FX3.
No, it's not. Look at that build out.
Yeah. Oh, maybe is it an RE?
You might, but that's my
It looks
point.
like
Like,
an RE.
you're shooting on an RE and you have like a handheld eye light. Like, come on.
This is the only one that the other guy was insane, and my back hurts
The other
watching
one was more
him.
of a joke.
Yeah. I mean, cool that you can rig it. I'm always impressed with like when you have multiple Ronins and you've like synced them where they all kind of turn at the same time. That was a cool, like, whatever. This though, is
I mean,
a
look,
little bit
I
absurd.
think this one was from DJI. You know, partially, you know, look, this is the DJI Ronin. Like, it's all Ronins and like, you know.
Yeah, but this idea of like I can turn and I can sync everything, that's cool. I don't know why
it's fun.
need it.
It's
You need to throw a DJ, or a GoPro
I didn't
ILS
disagree
on
with
there.
this. Like, I thought this was kind of like, it was a little gimmicky, but like,
Mhm.
I'm like, oh yeah, if I'm shooting running gun interviews or something like that, I was like, oh, this is actually not too bad.
Yeah, the weird thing for me is, man, and that gets better, but you're not doing anything inconspicuously or like quietly with that.
No,
set,
no,
right?
this is,
I don't even like going in and shooting events and stuff where I'm like getting interviews and I have like a small video light on. Like, that's why I like the FX3, because the ISO is so like, it's
so
such
crazy.
a clean signal that I'm not worried about
but,
going into low
you know,
light.
there's something nice about having an eye light and, you know, all that.
Yeah, that's a legitimate highlight. We were actually talking about, so I will say though, those 2x, the 2x and the 1x that Amaran did, because he's got that Amaran thing, they're light. They're legitimately like the other guy with the crazy Iron Man suit of DJI Ronins. Like, that's heavy as shit. But those 2x and 1x that are all like foldable, like soft, they're cool. I've seen, I'm sure we can talk about it and then it'll come up on both of our feeds, but we talked about the inflatable soft boxes before. So I've seen the crazy build outs with like the big kind of 3x2 inflatable thing that kind of floats, or they have like mantis arms that go out like this with like two of those giant lights. That's cool. I mean, those are absurd, but I love it. Maybe that can be my goal in life one day, is to have a build out quite as absurd as that and be featured on this podcast with just stupid build outs. Yeah, I don't know. Very interesting though. I'll give you one more before we jump into Chris Nolan. There's one other piece of gear that was dropped. I think it came out this week that I wanted your thoughts on. I'm going to try to do this on this stage here. And okay, maybe I can add this to mine now, because you were like stuck on it before and that was what was messing us up. So I don't know. Again, sucks for you.
35 to 100.
Tamron is like a silent killer in some of these, like,
and it's just, it's E, so coming soon to E and Nikon Z.
So blame Canon for not opening their lens system up and letting Tamron make cool lenses like this. But I thought, because you are my street photography guy, this is sick.
I'm not like that. Also, just from like an overall use of like, it's not even like I don't know if I would use it for street photography, but like just like,
I'm just thinking like when you throw one thing in the bag, like to just walk around all day,
just to have a lens, like, but for like client work, like to me, like that's like a perfect client work lens where it's like, great, we need to step back, we want that long look, we want to come up close, we want a little bit of a wide look, like great. And then get a 16 to 35. Like, you need to zoom. Like, I mean, granted, you could do the same thing, but like you can have a nice 85 in there. You have a nice 50 in there. Like,
well, so this is like, this is only, it's killer. If you're doing client work and you're not worried about like throwing one lens in the bag, the comparison is there. So they already had their 35 to 150.
Yeah.
All f2 to f2.8. Like, I love this lens. I have this lens. I love this lens. The drawback to it though is it's heavy as hell. It's almost a 3-pound brick in my bag. Now the focal range is killer, because like you said, I can go all the way up to 150. I mean, that's almost replacing my 70 to 200.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, it's a 35. So I would need to bring another wide lens, but like the only drawback to that lens is it's 2.6 pounds. This new one that they just came out with, only 1.2. So they cut it way. So that's why I'm thinking like, dude, for just like one lens that you want to walk around, you know, you did all this great street photography in New York City. You're not like switching lenses all the time.
Yeah.
But like, if you have one thing, you're just going to have your camera on a strap and like walk around all day. Dude, that's a cool focal length. Cause I find myself, if I'm walking around taking pictures, missing the long end of the lens, usually more than I miss the short end of the lens, if that makes sense. Like I sometimes at like Laowa 14 millimeter, like big wide architecture shot is cool. But most of the time I'm like, I just wish I could have zoomed in a little bit more to get like that interaction between those two people, or like a detail on a building more. So like having 100 mil and still keeping my 35, keeping it down to like a pound, dude,
that becomes a new workhorse. Like, that's the crazy thing. Like, in the sense of, sure, you might lose some definition, you might lose some that, like, for 80-90% of projects, like that as a workhorse lens, like my workhorse is my 24-70.
Yep. Like
that can replace the 24-70 like this if I shot Sony.
Right. But, or if Canon let them build some cool lenses.
Yeah. I mean, they do shoot. There is some lenses that they have, but not that they haven't made that for RF. And
Canon makes some really cool lenses, but Canon doesn't let a lot of other people into their ecosystem. They only use their lenses for the most part. There are some.
Sigma does, Tamron
there are some Sigma. I don't know how much is being used on the RF lens, though. You can tell me. I know they used to do it with the EF.
Sigma before I'd go with a Tamron, but I don't know. Maybe that's
Tamron's just making like it's a different price bracket. To me, it always went like the L lens, then the Sigma lens, then the Tamron down here.
To me, it's been that always was that like they're like kind of like, great, you want something that's not a Canon lens, but like you need something.
Yeah. But I thought what Tamron's done is like created some really unique focal lengths that are really hard to replicate. And the companies that do are replicating them for so much more money. Yeah. And they're like not absolutely like tack sharp, crystal perfect, but like they're very good lenses for the price. So I've been super impressed with what Tamron's been putting out. I saw that and I was like, oh, like as a throw in your bag and you are covered for pretty much everything. I thought it was pretty sick.
Well, and that's like, what's the price point on it too? Do you remember?
I do. It's $899. I think it's not out yet, but still.
I mean, for like a $900 lens, like that is a solid, like, especially like, I mean, think about like you have an FX3 and that.
Yep.
Not even, or like an FX30 and that lens. Like, how covered is like the basic YouTuber, vlogger, or like, basic upcoming filmmaker who wants to get into stuff like, or one of the entry level Sony's, whatchamacallit, like, I don't know this Sony line, but we were talking about the ZV-100X or whatever.
If you have a ZVE, or if you have the FX30, or if you're just, you just need a much better than the kit option. This is much better than the kit.
Solid price point of $900. I mean, that's a steal of a lens. That's coming. That's a steal of a lens. All right, so
I thought it was neat.
We had the Odyssey trailer drop.
Yep.
And I've heard a lot of weird rumors. Well, let's just first talk about Nolan and the Odyssey, if we can first.
Yeah. You're gonna have to fill me in because I haven't followed.
I have followed some of the drama on this because there's some more and more drama on this. So
give me the drama.
Unconventional castings, to say the least. And like I think just today I was seeing, he was getting some flack for having Travis Scott, the rapper, in the movie, and supposedly with a quote of saying like, the Odyssey was like original, poetry, and Travis Scott like it's a little bit of an ode where hip hop and rap are modern poetry, and it's a little bit of an ode to that. I'm like, I don't know.
Interesting. Yeah, he's got a stacked cast, that's for sure. I mean, it's a Christopher Nolan movie, so he's pulled in.
And then you have Elliot Page, formerly Ellen Page, who supposedly is Achilles, which is, again, like, really? You go from Brad Pitt to Elliot Page.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, that's not 100% confirmed.
Yeah.
But
interesting.
Yeah. So you got a lot of people on the right going, what is this woke crap? But I mean, look, it's a stacked cast. I'm excited for it. We're obviously going to see it. Like, I was looking at IMAX tickets.
I would say, though, in terms of the Elliot Page thing, Chris Nolan's been casting Elliot Page for a long time. Like Inception. Like,
obviously there's a relationship, and obviously
he does that a lot. He'll use his favorite actors.
Yeah. And then there's rumors that Lupita is Helen of Troy.
Okay.
So
I'm here for it.
But again,
I'll watch it.
I think it'll be, I'm a Nolan fanboy. I enjoy what Nolan
I love John
does.
Bernthal. Do you know what John?
I got to see John Bernthal live in New York on Broadway.
That's
and
awesome.
He crushed it. I got to watch him on a Dog Day Afternoon.
Sick. That's awesome.
And he was so good. Yeah. So look, I'm about it. I think Christopher Nolan is a very, very smart director. I think he will utilize this cast in a very intelligent way. Yeah. I think. But again, it'll be very interesting to see what he's done. I mean, some of the stuff that in the trailer looks fabulous.
Yeah.
And
I gotta go check it out. I did not follow that, and I probably should. As a filmmaker enthusiast, I should probably check that out. You gave me some homework.
There's some really good movies coming out this year. I'm very excited for the lineup of movies coming out this year.
Yeah. So in terms of that, I'm glad you gave us some context to kind of most recently what's going on. I found this clip of this younger, I think he's French guy, interviewing Chris Nolan, and like my film school brain just went, God, that, like, how nervous were you to sit down with, like, Chris Nolan's like one of my favorite directors. Like, oh my God, how crazy would it be to get to sit down and like just ask him some like just random questions. But he's got two quotes, since we kind of have been overlapping this idea of AI and filmmaking. And Chris Nolan is like the guy who will still shoot on 35 millimeter film because like he has a very intentional thought process on how he goes about choosing every piece of his film, not just his cast, but like down to the film print, down to the IMAX cameras versus not. Like he's just very intentional about his filmmaking. And so this was, this was clip one.
And of course, you chose to not
AI
use CGI.
Yes.
Is there a risk that using highly advanced technologies such as AI, for example, takes away the substance of art?
I don't think so. I think any tool, my choice to not use computer graphics to represent the Trinity test was really a mechanical one. It's an artistic choice because I feel that computer graphics, incredibly sophisticated and versatile that they are, and extraordinary work has been done with them, they tend to feel a little safe to me. They tend to play more in the world of animation, and so it's difficult to get threat from them, particularly in a film where the rest of the tone is very realistic, very textured. I think any tool, whether AI generated, whether it's computer based or whatever, it's all another tool for filmmakers to create with. And so as long as we have faith in our human beings creating with these tools, I think the medium of film will continue to develop in exciting ways.
What are your thoughts on that?
I mean, it instantly makes me go to, I want to, and this is why I was a little quiet, because I want to like almost pull up the trailer and show it, because like there's some stuff I'm like, how did he do that without CGI?
Yeah.
Like, because like, look, there's a difference between,
the Now, are you talking Odyssey
With
or are you
Tom Cruise.
talking Oppenheimer? Because he's
No,
talking
Odyssey.
about Oppenheimer. He's
We're
talking about Oppenheimer in that clip.
Okay.
So, because I did the same first
I'm
thought.
like, there's a Cyclops in the Odyssey. Like,
Yeah.
How are you doing that without CGI? Okay, he's talking
Well,
about.
I did the same thought because I was like, okay, like all the Dark Knight series, like there was absolutely CGI in parts of that.
Yeah, I mean, look, that makes sense with Oppenheimer. I can see how all of that was done practical. Like, I've seen the behind the scenes. But also like that makes total sense. I agree. Like, I think on the right projects, if you could do as much in camera, like there's gonna be something that feels real about it. Like you look at the old Lord of the Rings movies, like they stand up. You look at the OG Star Wars movies, they stand up. There's something visceral about it. Like, on a slightly different note, but on the same thing, just on AI and creativity, etc. Like, I was talking to my dad. Well, first I was talking to my wife, and we were listening to some of the AI like genre music, right? Like AI, like doing like a rap song and then making it a blues funk song. And like, I'm a big old school, like jazz, funk. Like, I grew up with that stuff because my dad's a musician. And we were like, oh, it's fun. But then we were listening to like actual music of that era. And we're like, there's a crispness about it. There's this texture about it that's so beautiful. And I then had a conversation with my dad about it. And I was like, is it because they're recording analog? Is it because of this or the mics? He's like, they're real musicians in the room.
Yep.
And I went, oh my God, so much of music today is made what's called in the box, meaning in the computer. Like, it's fake drums, it's fake pianos, it's fake, like they're not real musicians playing on the records. Like, yes, it's a real singer. Well, now with, Suno and all of that, like with music AI, but like most musicians, so much of music is not made with actual musicians. Like, the singer is real, or they'll have like a guitarist or something, but like there's a quality difference. And all the recording is also digital. It's not analog. It's not on tape, which is like on 35 millimeter or 70 millimeter film. And so I was like, that's the quality difference when you have a real drummer versus fake drums. But again, you have to be willing to pay those people. You're willing to build those relationships, find the right artist, the right musician to be able to give it that, And that's why it was something so fun to see. Like, I was in New York recently, and to see these guys on stage where there is no CGI, there is no nothing. There is just them doing their thing as actors and performers. And, I think that's why, Kill Tony is doing great. Why, in a whole different space, but Banana Ball and the Savannah Bananas and that whole league is doing so well. There's something magical and special about in our such advanced AI and technologically advanced society to have that real humanness about it.
Yeah. Well, I liked the part of that clip. What resonated with me is like intentionally making a decision that you wanted to feel the weight of the danger, of the threat, of the, even when you're doing practical explosion versus CGI explosion, like you feel the heat, even if it's pyrotechnics, you feel that danger versus, you watch some of the behind the scenes or some of the shots of the Marvel films being shot, and it's like a bunch of pretend actors pretending in front of a green screen with like a little marker spot where the head's supposed to be. And it's like I get what Nolan was talking about. I appreciate what Nolan was talking about in that you're making a decision to feel the actual weight of this thing. And it's just intentional. He's just very intentional with what he does.
I remember the first time I shot with 511. They're a tactical clothing brand. They do a lot of stuff with like military, law enforcement, etc. And we shot at a gun range. And I remember them unloading rifles and automatics and being like, oh my God. Like, this is not just, oh, fun John Wick, bing, 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 like, oh, guns, yay. You know, this is not like, you know, it's not just a cool action movie. This is real.
Yeah.
Like hearing that, feeling that, like it's a different sensation where like,
it sure is,
you know, from the standpoint of an actor, like they don't have to pretend. They can feel the heat. Just like you were saying, to feel that heat is very different than to go, okay, great, what would that heat feel like? Great, let me give you a performance. Rather than, oh, that's the heat. That's the, oh, that's what we just did. You know,
I think about, there's a moment in Dark Knight Returns, Heath Ledger's. It's Batman Dark Knight Return.
No, that's
just Dark Knight. Batman Begins, The Dark Knight. Sorry. In that moment where they blow up the hospital, there, like it's talked about everywhere, but like the transmitter didn't work at the right time, right? And they practically, like, they really blew that part of the hospital up, and you like see Heath Ledger trying it, and then it like, then they get it to connect and it works, and he like legitimately jumps. Like that's not necessary. Like that's acting. It's great acting, but he's like
in character and didn't turn to camera and be like, it's not working, guys.
Yeah.
He stayed okay.
It's,
you know, and it was such a great moment.
Yeah. But like in that moment, like props to him for being able to stay in character there. But like, it's also where like, as an actor, if you're walking away from this thing, you're like, it's not working. And then you feel this boom, like it'll make you jump comparative to not. To comparative to like, okay, just act this out. Okay, boom. You know, like there's a
hand talked about that in Maverick with the flyover.
Yeah.
You know, it's the same thing. And that's why I like Top Gun in Top Gun Maverick, where they're doing it, mounting the cameras,
you actually
feeling the G's that, you know.
Yeah.
So
here's the last clip. I love your reaction to that. So this one is Chris Nolan talking about kind of the evolution of where CGI's come from, and maybe kind of comparing that in a way towards
the inception. The human brain reconstructs worlds almost perfectly in our dreams, to the point where we can no longer distinguish, of course, between reality and the dream. Do you think that one day AI could soon reach this level of creativity or a capacity to duplicate things and completely blur the boundaries between what's real and what's not?
I personally don't think so. Doesn't mean that it's not a danger worth considering or an interesting idea worth considering. But I think if you look at the realm of visual effects, for example, when I first started using visual effects, everything was about simulation. Everything was about the idea that through computer graphics, through ray tracing, you could perfectly simulate an environment. And ultimately that hit a limit. And now the approach is slightly different. The approach is more photographic. It's more photographic textures, mapping them onto shapes, using the complexity of the world and our ability to capture it using cameras. And so you do see areas where, even though there's a theoretical possibility of infinite progression, in some areas there is a limit that's reached because the real world is, by definition, infinitely complex. The real world has no limitations. And so any digital simulation or technology that simulates, eventually it always hits a particular limitation.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, my personal thoughts is I think there will be a certain percentage of the population who, you know, live in their own fantasy land. I mean, as there is a certain percentage of population now that lives within their universe. And that's what is to say. Is their universe wrong or right? I don't know. That's not us to say. It's their universe, you know? So we'll like look at the universe of Wall-E, for example, right? To her, like it's people who live like, okay, great. This is technology. This is my universe. Okay, great. Fine. Like, but I think majority of the population will go, oh, look outside. You know, go look at the real, like, go look at the physical universe that we live in, and be like, great, this is the physical universe we live in. And I don't, because AI, it's like you just take off the headset, you go outside. Like,
yeah,
that is outside. And so I think it'll, personally, again, like similar to Nolan, where it's like, I think it'll get to a point where it will be really good. But there's, in my opinion, there will always have to be a piece of technology for you to be in that universe, whether it moves from headsets to glasses to contacts to neurochips. There will be a piece of technology to put you in that technology world, whatever that technology world might be.
Yeah, it's a good take. I so appreciate. I think that is my clip when I'm like stressed out about the evolution of this particular technology, to be like, all right, you know what? He makes you feel better about where it's going, that there's not just a complete takeover, that actually like, it's not as limitless as the marketing team at all these AI companies are making it seem.
That's why I
even
like
CGI hit
that's
a
why
limit.
I like that Lil Wayne clip.
Yeah.
From that we
Can't
played
clean
last
up here. Yeah.
Do I gotta?
Awesome. Yeah,
Pull
finding
that
that
up.
might be tough.
Thought I had it. But I want to leave. I want to add one clip to this show. That just like is inspiring as an artist. It's forget this guy's name. I think it's Jordan Johnson. I think that's his name.
Sweet.
Let me just double check. Jordan Johnson. No. Oh my God. This is gonna. Yeah, Josh Johnson. Sorry, Josh Johnson.
Can't
And so yeah, we can play.
This is your guy.
be audited. Like, you can't penny pinch passion. The things that make people dedicate their lives to art forms, there's no price that you can put on it. And what about artwork that you can't make money from? There are artists who do beautiful drawings in the sand and let the tide take it away. Is that not art because they didn't charge you to watch them at the beach? You know, us expanding our understanding of what art is and what artists go through is like, yeah, it's just paramount to a better world, you know? And
That's great.
And that's why, to me, it's like, it's, you know, in terms of the AI, right? Like, this is kind of what we're talking about, creativity, AI. It's the ability to dedicate your life to a craft. And the craft is there to entertain, inspire people.
Yeah.
Like, that is the goal of art, is to educate, is to inspire, to entertain, is to move people in some emotional capacity. You want to uplift them, or you want to make a satire where they go, oh my God, or you want to make a dramatic piece or something that, you know, shows, hey, look at this atrocity. And it's not meant to make you happy. It's meant to make you go, wow, that's horrendous.
Yeah.
You know, you look at Schindler's List, you don't walk away from that being like, oh my God, what a great movie. I love that. You go, oh my God. Right?
Yeah.
Like, very different than, you know, Indiana Jones, where you go, oh my God, it was so much fun. I love it. Right? And that's where I think AI art will never have that. It can't have that.
Yeah.
Like, it will never reach that point because there's not a human behind it. So that's why I never worry about it. And it's like, great, how is this tool going to help me make better art? But it's not going to make the art for me.
Yep.
Because I don't care for it to make the art for me. I want to make the art.
Right. I like that perspective. And I think that the commercial and marketing wings of all of these different tools are kind of marketing it for the lazy people that don't actually enjoy creating something. And like you said, like finding that passion and inspiring that in other people.
Dedicating their life to improving the craft and to learning a craft and perfecting a craft.
Yeah.
Like, it's people who aren't going to do that. But it's also very interesting, having worked with a lot of entrepreneurs who are not creatively minded, get overwhelmed by creativity, and get overwhelmed by the creative process, even though they themselves have dedicated their life to a craft, but it's the craft of business, craft of
and they don't
finance.
see it. They don't see it the same way, maybe.
Yeah. And like recently, I've just worked with a new client who works in the accounting space. And she literally has hired me because she gets overwhelmed with the creative technical.
Yeah.
Technical side on the creatively. She can look at numbers all day, but God forbid there's a design question and she gets completely freaked out and overwhelmed. And not right, not wrong. It's just how people are instinctually built. Some people are better at certain things. And so like, to me, that's where it's like the AI is like, at the end of the day, it's what do you want to dedicate your life to doing really well?
Love it. We will segment that in or segue that in to almost got there.
GoPro sucks.
Yeah, brought it back around.
Bring it back around.
No, I think what we have talking about, what we've kind of teased, and I think we need to bring it up next week, is kind of where you are using AI in your workflows, Claude specifically, because you've been diving into that. You cost me a lot of money because now I'm like neck deep into Claude and how that optimizes my workflow. And so I want to talk about next week.
And
tools.
In the last week, there's been some crazy things that I've been doing with it.
Yeah, I know you dug into design, which blew my mind. That literally like 3 weeks ago, or whatever, when they launched design, and I texted you and I was like, shit, I think I actually have to see what this is about.
Apps. I've been vibe coding apps. And software with it recently that have just like,
just because you can,
just because I can. But we're gonna get into all of it later.
Yeah, I mean, I'm interested because I'm feeling both the productivity end of it, but also the Cheesecake Factory end of like, you can do everything. And it just like can get you in this moment where I'm like, shit, I spent 6 hours on this and I am closer to like what I want. So
we got a lot to talk about.
We'll talk about that. I want to dig into kind of where you're finding the most benefits and where that could help me or help anybody else that's listening. So I want to touch on that. And then I teased this last week. We didn't get to it this week. So we will get to it next week. The most overrated camera equipment / just gear that is, and you told me already, you were like, I sold all that stuff. I got rid of it. Fair. I appreciate you for just getting rid of things and living in a clutter-free world. But we went most.
Don't look below the camera.
Yeah, stay here. But we went most underrated. So I think it's important to see like where did the marketing really sell us and like what did we get? Because I did put thought into this. I've got 3 that I can talk on. So we'll talk about.
I got.
Yeah, okay. All right,
save it. I got it. I had to take a second, but I got.
You got to kind of take stock of like what I really bought.
I had to look around. I was like, okay,
right.
Then I was like, what's in my in my closet at the top shelf in the back that I don't use ever, and that my wife and I were just talking about, like, could we even sell it and get any money for it?
Yeah.
But they sold us so well. It was an NAB impulse purchase 8 years ago.
So the positioning of your item is exactly where the positioning of my item is.
Yeah. It's
in the back of your closet on the top shelf.
In the back that you need like a ladder to get to. And you're like, if this can I spent way too much money on this and I regret my life.
Yep, exactly. So we'll touch on that. And I think we will have a guest joining us next week. So we'll have Todd V from Todd V Productions. Yeah, he reached out to me on YouTube. So we'll hopefully have him on, which will be fun. Just if we can't wander around between the 2 of us, and we, invite another.
He's got to know what his underrated piece of gear is. We got to make sure he's prepped.
Yeah. All right. Well, so we'll send Todd some prep questions for him. And I think that's it. Did I miss anything, Jake?
I think we're just keep rocking in the free world.
Keep it going. All right, man. Fun. Until next week. Peace.